everybody, it's Miss Jody here. I'm here with our Bible story. I wish we could be together at church to do our Bible stories, but since we can't, Mr. Todd and I are going to come to you on location from our front yard, and that will work just fine. So we've been working our way through God's big story, right? The Bible, and we've been paying a lot of attention to Jesus's story lately. Now, last week, things were not looking so great for Jesus, yeah? So there were some religious leaders that didn't want him to tell people about God. And so they really wanted to arrest him so they could stop him. One of Jesus's friends, one of his disciples named Judas, had agreed to tell the religious leaders where they could find Jesus. And so they did. They came and found Jesus while he was praying, and they arrested him. And this was really scary for all of Jesus's followers. They didn't know what to do. They were afraid, they were confused, and they ran away. And so what I would love to do today is to help you understand the perspective of one of those friends. Now, I can't actually invite Jesus's friends to come talk to me because it's just been too long since this actually happened. But I can invite Mr. Todd to come take the perspective of one of Jesus's friends named Peter. So with that, let me introduce Peter. Hi, Peter. Thanks for being with us today.
Hi, it's good to be here.
So, Peter, when Jesus was taken captive and brought to the high priest's courtyard, I've heard that you and John followed behind at a distance.
That's true, we did.
You did. Okay, good. And as you waited in the courtyard, is it true that a woman came and asked you if you were one of Jesus's followers and you said no?
That's true. That's true.
Okay. And then they took Jesus inside to question him, and then 2 more times, when someone asked you if you knew Jesus, you said you didn't know him?
Yes, that's also true.
Oh, wow. So what can you tell us about that?
Well, it wasn't until the rooster crowed 3 times that I realized what was happening. Jesus had told me that I would deny him 3 times before the rooster crowed. And I didn't believe it. I told him that would never happen. But it did. I was looking at all the people and they were getting angry, and I got afraid, and I just denied once, twice, 3 times. And then the rooster crowed and I remembered what Jesus had said. How did he know what was going to happen? And then I realized Jesus was there to change everything.
Yeah, he did change everything. Well, thanks for being here to explain that to us today.
Thank you.
All right, so we're back now to talk with another one of Jesus's disciples. This time, we're talking with a man named John. Thanks for being here today, John.
Thanks, it's good to be here.
So, John, we've been talking with you and a couple other people because we want to understand the story of what happened with Jesus. So we've been told that soldiers took Jesus away to the Roman governor, Pilate, and that Pilate asked the religious leaders what crime Jesus should be charged with. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And then I've heard that Pilate took Jesus away himself, asked him some questions, and was even supposed to have him beaten, but Pilate couldn't find any reason to punish him. Is that true?
That's true.
Okay, I think we've got a quote here in the Bible. Let me just read this now. As soon as the chief priests and their officials saw Jesus, they shouted, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" But Pilate answered, "You take him and crucify him. I myself find no basis for a charge against him." Wow, that seems unbelievable. And is it true that Pilate then gave Jesus over to the soldiers and they made him carry his own cross to Golgotha, that hill outside the city?
Yes, that is true. And then they nailed him to the cross and raised it high up into the air. And it had a sign on it that said, "Jesus, King of the Jews." And Jesus was hanging there on the cross. As he looked down, Mary, his mother, his sister, Mary Magdalene were there. And Jesus looked at me and told me to take his mother as if she were my own mother and to take care of her. And then he said, "It is finished." and he bowed his head and died. Yes, that's the way it was. It was so tragic. It was the worst moment of my life. And I couldn't understand it then, but now I can see Jesus was changing everything.
That's the theme we keep hearing from everyone. Jesus changes everything. Thanks for telling us your story.
Thank you. Hi everyone, Mr. Todd here to interview another very close friend of Jesus, Mary Magdalene. Hi Mary, it's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Up to this point in the story, the news was very sad. Jesus, the Son of God, had died. You and others must have been so confused. I imagine you have wondered, how could this possibly be part of God's plan?
Yes, definitely.
But don't worry, the story was not over yet.
That's right.
Mary, the day Jesus died, there were two men, Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus, who placed Jesus' body in the tomb. There was a huge stone in front of the tomb blocking the entrance. Is it true that you followed those two men there?
Yes, it is.
And then early Sunday morning, did you return to the tomb?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, when I got there, the stone had been rolled away, and I was amazed. So I ran to tell Peter and John because I wanted them to know too, and then they ran back to see what was happening.
Wow, that's right. And then, Mary, you looked inside the tomb, didn't you?
I did. And there were two angels sitting where Jesus' body had been, and they asked me why I was crying. And then I saw this other man, and I thought he was the gardener. But then he knew my name, and I realized, oh my gosh, this is Jesus! I was so excited. I mean, this was the best news ever. So I ran to tell the other disciples, and we were all so excited together. We began to understand that Jesus was changing everything.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for being here with us, Mary.
Thank you.
Wow. Can you imagine how excited Mary and the rest of Jesus' friends were? I mean, a few days earlier, Jesus was dead. And now he's alive. Jesus had chosen to die for his friends. He defeated death. He rose again, and he's alive. This is the best news ever.